NASA's mission is to explore the unknown.
There's more that we don't know than we do know. That's just the nature of the universe.
In the search for answers, it launches its scientists into space, its craft beyond the limits of the solar system.
Taking risks is part of making discoveries.
Space exploration is like lighting a match, and we don't know what lurks in the shadows.
Hey, what is that?
There could be anything out there.
Mysterious tracks, hunted astronauts, fountains of life on Saturn's moon, and possible evidence of an alien invasion. NASA's missions have uncovered disturbing anomalies.
Okay, we're seeing 3 or 4 objects.
There are 3 objects
that continue to perplex our finest scientific minds. These are NASA's unexplained files. A mysterious object floats above our atmosphere.
It looks like a Klingon bird of prey.
Some say it's a stealth craft from a secret defense project.
The Black Knight goes back to the early years of the space age, and even before.
Or something even more sinister.
There's a black world out there. Lots of things we can't explain. That's the way life is.
December 1998. 6 NASA astronauts are about to open a new chapter in space exploration. Their mission: to assemble the International Space Station, the first permanently manned satellite to orbit the Earth. Jerry Ross is the spacewalk mission specialist.
When you're starting to lay the cornerstones of something as important as the International Space Station, you're pumping, and you want to get on with the program.
If the other one has a -1, then you've hit the nail on the head.
7 days into the mission, Ross and fellow astronaut Jim Newman are installing thermal protection on the new space station when someone spots something unexpected.
The crew member said, "What's that?" And I'm starting to look around, trying to understand what's that? What are they talking about?
The crew immediately follow NASA's UFO sighting protocol.
The first thing we try to do is to take pictures of what we see so that we have photographic evidence.
Back on Earth, the photographs create an instant sensation in the UFO community. They see a link to a mysterious object from the 1950s, known as the Black Knight. Some people thought it was extraterrestrial in origin, others that it came from closer to home.
The Black Knight goes back to the early years of the space age, and even before. People begin to watch the skies looking for satellites, secret ones.
These so-called dark satellites were unexplained blips that mysteriously appeared on radar. And sometimes ominous black shapes were spotted hovering in the sky. At the time, the Russians accused the U.S. of space espionage, while the U.S. suspected the same.
The Black Knight is just one of many things that we don't have explanations for. Certainly, people don't understand that just because it's ours doesn't mean we tell everybody about it.
Sure, I'll guarantee you.
But Jerry Ross doesn't buy the dark satellite theory. He believes there's a simpler explanation.
Jim was supposed to put a thermal blanket on the outside of the station to protect it from heat losses.
Work our way up.
I was ahead on my task, so Jim offered to give me the thermal blanket and let me attach it. When somebody said, "What's that floating away?" I looked and I saw this blanket. I looked at the tether where it was supposed to be, and it wasn't there.
Jerry, the thermal covers got away from you. How did it do that? I don't believe this.
In this case, it's a story of an oops. Dropping a piece of equipment. It wasn't alien. It was a mistake.
It was a really bad feeling.
The blanket looks black because its reflective surface is facing away from the Earth. out towards the darkness of space. But not every sighting of the Black Knight can be so easily explained.
There were reports in the 50s of strange things in orbit around the Earth. We don't know what they were. They weren't ours as far as we know. We don't think they were Russians either. What does that leave? Who knows?
Conventional scientific wisdom suggests that any alien intruder would have to travel light years to reach us. But one NASA craft has discovered potential signs of extraterrestrial life right next door. A NASA probe detects a mysterious energy source on one of Saturn's dead moons. And the search for life takes an unexpected leap forward.
Enceladus is now my #1 choice for where we might find life.
We thought Enceladus was dead. It blew our minds.
When we see a puzzle like this, we want to figure it out.
It's spectacular. Nothing like it in our solar system that we've seen so far.
NASA's Cassini probe transmits mission data across 1 billion miles of space. When it passes 700 miles above Saturn's moon Enceladus, project investigator Michelle Doherty can't believe what she sees.
I look at the data, I see these large changes, and I think this is weird. I don't understand what's going on at all. What could it be telling us? I take a deep breath, and I phone the Cassini project, and I say, we think we're seeing an atmosphere at Enceladus. Enceladus is alive.
Putting her reputation on the line, Doherty persuades NASA to interrupt its mission, turn the probe around, and take an even closer look at Enceladus.
What happens if we don't see anything? No one's ever going to believe anything I say again.
Skimming Saturn's rings, Cassini takes a closer look at Enceladus. The images it sends back are astonishing. Enormous plumes of liquid water spew out of a moon that should be dead.
The plumes that we're seeing at Enceladus are huge. Half the size of the moon itself. It validates the decision that we made to go close and really give us a new discovery that no one actually thought was ever going to be there. So it's really cool.
The sensational discovery hits the world's headlines. But planetary scientists are baffled by the giant liquid plumes.
It should be completely frozen, but yet we have liquid water at 30 degrees Fahrenheit and warmer coming out of this thing, spewing into space.
Something or someone is heating up a moon that should have frozen to death millions of years ago.
We expect that the surface of Enceladus has a little bit of heat on it because of the solar radiation coming in, but you could power 20 coal power stations with the heat that we find, and that's a real surprise.
What is powering Enceladus?
One theory is that the mysterious energy emanates from Saturn's extreme gravitational force.
Enceladus isn't like our moon. It has a rocky core, but it actually has a water ocean beneath a mantle of thick ice. As Enceladus orbits Saturn, Saturn's massive gravity squishes it and putting a lot of energy into that little tiny 300-mile diameter ball. And so that's helping to push that ice water out of these fissures at high velocity.
Cassini flies through a plume spewing from the icy moon's geyser. What it discovers turns Enceladus from a barren, freezing wasteland into a promising place for extraterrestrial life.
The interesting thing is, coming out with those geysers, we're also seeing hydrocarbons, building blocks of life.
Enceladus is now my #1 choice for where we might find life.
If you find liquid water, you can start to talk about the possibilities for perhaps finding some kind of alien life beneath the surface of Enceladus. I think if somebody had suggested that before the mission went there, they would have been carted off into a small room.
The next step is directly search for life. We want to go back to the plume with more sophisticated instruments, and I think even grab a sample and bring it back to Earth.